At 1 o'clock in the morning, someone started taking pictures, dozens of them, one after another, using a camera that belonged to two young women who had already gone missing. They were both in their early 20s, staying together with a local family in a small town in West Panama, sitting at the edge of a dense jungle near the slopes of an old volcano. It's the kind of place people come to hike. Trails begin just outside of town and wind up into the hills. They're well known, frequently used, familiar to both locals and tourists. Nothing about them suggests danger. And during their stay, exploring those trails was part of the plan. On April 1st, the day they went missing felt completely normal. Early afternoon, bright, warm, slightly humid. They set out on a popular hike just after having brunch. The trail begins wide and clear, cutting through open sections of jungle. At the start, it doesn't feel remote. You pass people, you hear movement around you. It feels safe. And for a while, that's exactly what it was. They walked and talked, stopped to take photos, documenting the trail as it gradually climbed higher. But as they continued, the trail began to shift. It got narrow, steep, more enclosed. Nothing sudden, just enough that you would notice it. Eventually, it opens along a ridge overlooking the valley. That's where most people turn around, but they decided to keep going. Beyond that point, everything changes. The path is still there, but less defined. The ground is uneven, the trees thicker, closing off the distance ahead. It's quieter, less predictable. At some point, they stop to take more photos. Those images still exist. They show the trail behind them, the ridge, the drop into the forest. Everything looks normal, no signs of panic or urgency. And then, the photos stop. No images from the rest of the afternoon. No indication of where they went or why. Hours passed, then night. At first, nothing seemed wrong. Hikers lose track of time. They take longer routes. It happens. But as the night went on, that explanation stopped making sense. By the next day, the women missed an appointment with a local guide. On April 6th, their parents had arrived in Panama and search teams were on the trail. They followed the same path, up to the ridge, then beyond it. Locals joined in, spreading out into the surrounding forest. But there was nothing. No clear direction. No sign of where they had gone. Just a trail that led in and nothing leading back out. Days passed. Then, deeper in the jungle near a river, something was found. A backpack. Not hidden, not damaged, just sitting there. Inside, everything was intact. Phones, money, personal belongings, nothing taken, nothing disturbed. And inside, their camera. The photos from earlier that day were exactly what you'd expect. Clear, ordinary, taken along the trail as they climbed. Then there was a gap, hours of nothing. Until early the next morning, around 1 a.m. That's when the camera was turned on again, deep in the jungle. Dozens of photos, taken one after another. But they don't show anything clear. Most are fragments, dark shapes, leaves, pieces of ground, angles that don't make sense, like the camera wasn't being aimed, just used. Some point straight up into the trees, where the canopy disappears into black, Others are low, uneven, like whoever held it wasn't steady. There's no subject, no faces, no clear reason for any of it. In one image, a plastic bag and pieces of paper are laid out on a rock, placed deliberately. In another, part of a head, hair, matted, out of place. And the photos aren't continuous. They're spaced out, minutes apart, sometimes longer. As if whoever had the camera kept stopping, waiting, then taking another picture. There's never been a clear explanation why or what they were trying to capture, and after that night, the photos stopped completely. Search efforts continued for weeks. Teams pushed farther out, following rivers, moving into areas no one had reached yet, and eventually, more was found. Remains, scattered, separated, in locations that didn't fully make sense. Some clothing, personal items, but nothing had explained what happened. No confirmed timeline after they crossed the ridge, no clear reason they left the trail, or if they were trying to find their way back. And no explanation for the photos, why they were taken, what they meant, or who was behind the camera in those final hours. The young women were Chris Kremers and Lisanne Froon. Theories filled the gaps. Some believe they got lost. Others think something else happened out there. But nothing was ever proven. Just a trail that begins open and familiar and slowly leads somewhere else. And a camera that kept capturing moments long after it should have gone quiet. Out there, past where the path fades, the jungle doesn't explain anything. It doesn't retrace your steps. And somewhere beyond that ridge, the rest of the story stayed deep inside the jungle.